Imagine a world devastated by a catastrophe so severe that it wiped out 1/3 of an entire continent's population in just a few years. This was the Black Death, a plague that didn't just claim lives but also reshaped Europe in ways we're still feeling today. As tragic as the Black Death was, its aftermath created profound changes not just in population but in social structure, economy, and the very foundations of feudal Europe. From 1347 to 1351, the Black Death spread across Europe, killing between 25 and 30 million people. The continent was already struggling with issues like famine, poverty, and war, but the plague brought it all to a new level of crisis. However, out of this chaos came transformative changes that would alter the course of history forever. But what exactly changed in the wake of this devastating pandemic? And how did those changes shape modern Europe? First and foremost, the Black Death caused a staggering population collapse. In some areas, up to 60% of the population perished. Villages were emptied, fields were left untended, and entire communities disappeared. The sheer loss of life was unprecedented, and it immediately caused major disruptions to daily life. Crops rotted in the fields, livestock wandered unattended, and commerce ground to a halt. However, this population collapse had unforeseen consequences for the survivors. One of the most dramatic effects of the Black Death was its impact on the labor market. With fewer people to work the land, labor became a scarce and highly valuable resource. This drove up wages for peasants and laborers, who suddenly found themselves in high demand. Feudal lords, accustomed to controlling large numbers of serfs, were now forced to offer better conditions and pay just to keep their workers. In the years before the plague, many peasants lived under the oppressive yoke of feudalism, bound to their lord's land with little hope of improving their circumstances. But after the Black Death, many survivors were able to negotiate better wages and working conditions. Some even took advantage of the chaos to leave their villages in search of better opportunities elsewhere. This newfound economic freedom contributed to the gradual decline of the feudal system, which had defined medieval Europe for centuries. Feudalism, the dominant social system in medieval Europe, was built around rigid class structures. Lords controlled vast estates while peasants worked the land in exchange for protection and basic sustenance. The Black Death disrupted this balance. With labor now in short supply, the bargaining power of the lower classes grew. Peasants and serfs had more leverage, and in many places they demanded, successfully, better wages and working conditions. The scarcity of labor also led to a shift in land ownership. Many noble families, unable to sustain their estates, were forced to sell off lands or grant greater freedoms to their workers. For the first time in centuries, social mobility became a real possibility. A new class of tenant farmers and small landholders emerged, paving the way for a more dynamic and less hierarchical society. As the rural population declined, cities began to grow. Survivors of the plague flocked to urban centers in search of new opportunities, and these cities became hubs of trade, culture, and innovation. The rise of a new middle class, made up of merchants, artisans, and professionals, started to reshape the economic landscape of Europe. These changes helped lay the groundwork for the Renaissance, which would follow just a few generations later. The movement of people from the countryside into the cities, combined with the new wealth generated from higher wages, created an environment ripe for cultural and intellectual growth. The Black Death didn't just affect Europe's economy and social structures, it also had a profound impact on religion and culture. Many people believed the plague was divine punishment for their sins, and the church initially gained power as people sought spiritual comfort. However, as the plague persisted and church leaders were unable to stop it, many began to question the church's authority. This disillusionment with the church helped sow the seeds for the Reformation in the 16th century. At the same time, the art and literature of the period reflected the horror and despair brought on by the plague. Themes of death and decay became prevalent, as seen in the Danse Macabre, a popular motif showing skeletons dancing with the living. In the end, the Black Death was a turning point in European history. Its aftermath set the stage for the decline of feudalism, the rise of the middle class, and the eventual flowering of the Renaissance. Out of the immense suffering and death came a new social order, one that would continue to evolve into the modern world we know today. While the Black Death was undoubtedly a tragedy, it also reminds us that even the darkest moments in history can lead to unexpected transformations. By understanding the impact of the Black Death, we gain insight into how societies adapt and evolve in the face of catastrophic events. If you found this exploration of the Black Death's aftermath interesting, make sure to subscribe to Historical Digest for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let's uncover the past, one story at a time.